I started yoga in the 60s. I was looking for enlightenment, as a lot of us were during the 60s. I thought if I took 5 or 6 yoga classes that I would find this state that I read about in books. I think the reasons that people practice now are different. I think most people these days are overworking in every aspect of their life. They're feeling overstimulated. As you notice, there's Starbucks in almost every single corner, and people are just going around in this chronic state of tension. And I think what comes as a result of this overstimulation and this overworking is a feeling of isolation, a feeling of fragmented, stressed, even feeling depressed and depleted. And I think this is where yoga comes in. Underneath all these things that many people are feeling, there's kind of a yearning or a need to reconnect with themselves on a deeper level. At some point in your life when you were a child or a young kid, you were absolutely seated in your center and absolutely calm. You have memories of that. That's why we use the word reconnect, because you've already been there, you've just forgotten it. You know what it's like to be calm, you know what it's like to be at peace. No, I did not get enlightened, but after my first class, I felt absolutely wonderful, and it was a feeling that I had never had before. In my 20s, I had this feeling of emptiness, and even though I had many friends, I felt kind of lonely. And in my first yoga class, when I did my first pose, I felt this wonderful feeling of warmth and fullness and well-being, and that's what kept me with it. I had feelings that I had never had before in my life. With your next exhalation, keeping full extension through the left arm, exhale, form a right angle. There's nothing I would rather be doing than practicing and teaching. To go into a class of people that have never done yoga before, and then to teach them how to stand with dignity and teach them how to open their chest and teach them how to breathe deeply is one of the greatest joys in my life. To watch someone's body transform in front of your eyes is a tremendous joy, or to watch someone who is self-conscious and shy and not feeling very powerful in their life, to watch yoga transform them, not just physically, but psychologically and emotionally, is really wonderfully, wonderfully satisfying. Relax your mouth, don't tense your mouth or your tongue. The most important thing at the beginning is consistency. If you practice 15 minutes a day for 6 or 7 days a week, that's much more valuable than practicing an hour twice a week. And the reason for that is when you practice every day, even for a short period of time, a vibration gets built up in your body-mind, and then when you miss a day, your body-mind misses that. One way of describing it is you feel fully alive, maybe not right at the beginning of your practice, but at some point in your practice, your stress disappears, your fatigue disappears, and you feel fully alive, but at peace at the same time. It's an absolutely magnificent, wonderful combination. And I think when you're feeling that day after day after day, and then you miss a day, you realize, oh, I don't have that feeling, and that's the pull back to it again. I think the key is relaxation. When you start at the beginning of a yoga class or practice by doing simple stretching and focusing on your breath, you begin to relax your muscles. When your muscles relax, that has an effect on your mental state. Your mind begins to relax, and then you feel an energy flow in your body that's hard to put into words. It's better to experience it, but it goes from the physical, relaxing and releasing tension in your muscles, and that penetrates into your mind, and then you begin to feel energized in a peaceful way. The beginner video is more of a study of the basic poses. I show how to use props in many different ways, and it's a slower pace. And in those days, we weren't really talking much about the spirituality of yoga, so there are a few references throughout the program to the other aspects of asana besides the physical benefits. In the introduction to yoga, the foundation of the program is a spiritual foundation. So in that video, I'm really putting asana in the context of a larger picture. Asana is a Sanskrit word for pose or position. Each position that you put your body in is called an asana. The video begins with a spiritual introduction. It explains what asana can offer you that is not just physical. It's beyond stress reduction. It's beyond just having a more toned body or a more flexible body or a stronger body. There's something more that yoga has to offer. The spirituality of yoga is making contact with your true self, your deepest nature, a way of reconnecting. T.S. Eliot put it beautifully. He said, yoga is finding a still point of the turning world, finding a center inside of yourself, an internal refuge in the external world of chaos. If you are an absolute beginner, I think the introduction to yoga is one of the best videos for you because you really understand the flow of poses. There's not a lot of talking in between. I'm teaching one pose from the next to the next, and you get a taste of the different categories of poses. There's a few standing poses, a few twists, forward bends, and then at the end there's a beautiful restorative practice. So it's a good sampling of the different aspects of asana. Shooting the introduction to yoga in Maui was absolutely incredible. To be in a twist and turn and look out at this incredibly beautiful, expansive turquoise sea, I mean, it doesn't get a lot better than that. In each one of us, even if we're not aware of it, there's a place inside of us that's absolutely silent, that's absolutely quiet, that's absolutely beyond time. And through these different practices of yoga, we're able to come in contact with the center or the core. The more you come in contact with the core of your being, you find this place on your mat, and then as you go out into the world, you start coming from that place more and more. You're interacting with your friends and your family or your co-workers from that place deep inside of yourself. And what comes as a result of this is that you are a more patient person, you are a more tolerant person, you're a kinder person, you are a more loving person. When you're feeling relaxed, you are more peaceful. Outer peace, peace in the world, comes from the peace that we feel within ourselves. When we are peaceful within ourselves, we treat people differently. Inner peace will bring outer peace. The cause of all our sufferings are our attachments to things and our desires. And we continue to look outside of ourselves to fill our emptiness, to fill our desires, to satisfy our wants. But the answer, the solution to this suffering, to all our wants, lies deep within us. And it's through our practice of yoga that we really learn this truth. The answer to our problems lies deep within us.